"Okay," he says. "The Once Upon a Time machine is ready to write our book for us. All we have to do now is decide what sort of book we want it to write." "A funny one," I say. "Good idea," says Terry. "But exactly how funny would you like it?" "So funny," I say, "that if you were reading it and drinking a glass of milk at the same time, you would laugh so hard that you would snort milk out of your nose." "No problem," says Terry. "I'll just set the funny dial to milk snortingly funny, and the machine will take care of the rest."
The funny dial on the Once Upon a Time machine has 9 settings. Not at all funny, small smile funny, full smile funny, politely funny, rudely funny, milk snortingly funny, which of course is the particular setting we'll be using today in this example, pants wetting funny, heart stopping funny, and of course laugh to death funny, which is not all that popular. Unless, of course, you're a zombie postman. Then, of course, why not? You're dead anyway, you may as well have a good chuckle.
"Cool," I say. "This is going to be the easiest book we've ever written." "You mean the easiest book we've never written," says Terry. "What else would you like in it?" "Lots of action," I say. "One action-packed book coming up," says Terry, turning the action dial as far to the right as possible. "What about characters?" says Terry. "I guess we want all the regulars," I say, "like you, me, and Jill, and also a few new ones, just to keep things interesting." "You got it," says Terry.
The Once Upon a Time machine has a whole panel of character on-off switches. Terry chooses the characters he wishes to have in the story.
Right, let's see. Andy, on. Terry, on. Obviously. Jill, on. Silky the flying cat, on. Sharks, on. Penguins, on. Mr. Big Nose, on. Monkeys, off. Barky the barking dog, off. Mermaidia, off. Superfinger, on. Pinky, off. Jimi Hendrix, on. Bill the Postman, on. Sea Monkeys, off. Giant Gorilla, off. Kevin the Mechanical Bull, off. Edward Scooperhands, on. Andy's parents, off. Terry's parents, off. Jill's parents, off. Captain Woodenhead, off. Gorgonzola, off. Evil Pirates, off. The Trunkinator, on. Baby Dinosaurs, on. Birthday Card Bandits, on. Mutant Lion Thing, on. Professor Stupido, on. Frogpotamus, on. Once Upon a Time machine, on. Manny, on. Bill and Phil, on. Larry, on. Curly, on. Mo, on. Mr. Hee-Haw, on. Pat, on. Loopy, on. Laker, on. Pink, on. Rabbits, on. The Fish Pistols, on. Fluffy the Flying Cat, on. Puffy the Flying Cat, on. Purry the Flying Cat, on. Blurry the Flying Cat, on. Scary the Flying Cat, on. Fairy the Flying Cat, on. Scratchy the Flying Cat, on. Slashy the Flying Cat, on. Trashy the Flying Cat, on. Crashy the Flying Cat, on. Tinkerbell the Flying Cat, on. Floppy the Flying Cat, on. You the listener, on. "Okay," says Terry. "Where would you like the story to be set?" "What are our choices?" I say. "Let me see," says Terry, reading from the setting panel. "The tree house, Jill's house, the forest, underwater, outer space, the dark side of the moon, the fourth dimension, Cheeseland." "Cheeseland?" I say.